Okay,
And
let's get,
tickets.
we're gonna open this meeting here at 6:33. Posted in accordance with the provisions of MGL's Chapter 38, 20B. The proceedings will be videotaped by Area 58 and rebroadcast by the Area 58 as well. We're meeting here in Meeting Room 1.
4.
I'm sorry, Meeting Room 4. I'm reading it and I'm reading wrong, sorry. The first thing on our agenda is I invited Tom Bott to come and discuss, I have 3 areas here, and the failure to receive the grant for 40,000 water remediation, not remediation, but mediation, I guess. The second one was awarded grant for the economic development, and I asked him about future development plans. If you will allow me, Tom, he sent me a nice email real quick and says, short answer on the $40,000 grant is there was only 1 grant awarded per town, and Carver applied for 2, and our grant application developed with Serpent scored higher than the grant application for NCWD. We won't talk about that. Let me read the other one, which I was interested in how you responded. He says, Dear Joanna, from the virtual debriefing that Glenn Cannon, Bob Belbin, and I attended on 11/20/24 with Mallory Sullivan, Rural Program Manager, Massachusetts Executive Office of Economic Development, and former State Senator Ann Goby, now Director of Rural Affairs in the Executive Office of Economic Development. Comments from Rural Affairs included, these are bullets, no cost estimates attained, timeline not clearly defined, including anticipated warehouse uses would be good to include in a future round. A match is not required, but including a 10% match scores more points, and considered submitting an expression of interest letter prior to next grant round. He then says, final note, not included in the debriefing. In the absence of the town of Carver approving zoning at annual town meeting for the MBTA zoning, it's likely that neither Carver nor North Carver Water District would be eligible for any future grants. Could you please elaborate on all that? I don't know where you want to start, but...
I can. So there were 2 grant applications. The successful one was for an economic development plan for the town of Carver that we developed with Serpent. So we got $90,000 from Serpent, which included a 10% match. So that is the grant we received from Rural Affairs, which essentially outscored the other grant from North Carver Water. So in the MBTA zoning bylaw, in the regulations that have been promulgated from it, there are currently 13 grants that towns would be ineligible for if they did not comply with the MBTA zoning bylaw. So the town of Carver has a deadline for December 2025 to adopt the zoning. And if you don't, you're not eligible for those grants. Those are included in Rural Affairs grants, MassWorks grants, and Municipal Vulnerability Program grants, which I believe our current emergency management operation has taken out, or has used before for emergency management planning. So the state is just ratcheting up the, the tools that they have at their disposal to encourage towns to develop the zoning.
Is this the same thing that Wellesley's going through right now?
Milton did.
Like there's 175 towns in Massachusetts that are required to comply with the law because they have transit or they're transit adjacent, or they're like us, they're a small adjacent town. So we're one of those towns that has to comply.
And
I just read a little bit about their situation and
Yeah, so in Milton, they approved the zoning, but then they had a referendum to override town meeting's vote. So it went to a referendum.
oh, wow.
People voted against the zoning. It was removed, and so now Milton is going to court with the Attorney General, who's basically said, yeah, this is the law, and I'm going to use all the tools in my office to make towns comply with the law. Milton has set aside $275,000 for special town council. And I have advised people as often as I can that spending $250,000 on town council is probably not the best use of a municipality's resources.
So fill me in. I went to the town meeting. I know I know you did. It says here, in the absence of the town of Carver approving the zoning, why did we not approve it? Did you present it?
We have till, it's gonna be on the warrant this town meeting. So town meeting 2025, this zoning will be on the warrant.
But in the interim,
No, we're fine, we comply with the law,
oh,
because we've hit our milestones along the way. We said, we're looking at this, we're looking at that, we filed the reports with DHCD or with EHL. So we're fine, we comply, but that last step of complying is adopting the zoning. And we have until December 2025 to do so.
oh, until December 2025, okay.
Where's the zoning?
Well, that's what the planning board and I are gonna be talking about again in a little bit. So if you get done here quick enough, you can come up to the planning board meeting and hang out. We'll probably get to that about 9 o'clock or so tonight. It's a pretty full agenda.
9 o'clock?
Yeah. The Red Sox.
I think I'll watch it on.
I think I'll watch on the video.
All right, whatever works for you.
Wow. Future development with this award that you got. Can you enlighten us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the economic development plan essentially will kick off in January, and it's about looking at what are those sort of things that first off, it gives you a snapshot of where we're at from a perspective of economic development, types of businesses, revenues and things like that. And then it looks at, through public meetings, what sort of businesses the town like to participate or pursue in developing a long-range plan to see what sort of things can they do, whether through zonings or other incentives and things like that, to target economic development for the town of Carver.
How does this play into what's going on with Green Business Park?
It's unrelated because this is, the economic development plan is the big picture for Carver, not one specific piece of property. So from down there to up there to over there to back over there.
All right, I have a couple of questions. Your 5 bullet points, no cost estimates attained, timeline not clearly defined, et cetera. Are these five points that, or 5 issues that made us get lower points?
Likely.
Likely, okay. And these are things that we should be cognizant of moving forward should we want to get this grant. How often are these grants offered?
I don't know, grant rounds come around, sometimes some of them are annual, some are more rolling. I don't know the particulars of this, but I think the portal for one-stop grants are open, and that first part of that portal is the letter of interest, expressing letter of interest. So basically say, here's what we're thinking about, and that gives you an opportunity to talk with the folks who are giving the grant, to coach you up on things you might consider applying, including in your grant application.
All right, that was one of my questions. What is an expression of interest letter? And does that go to the Executive Office of Economic Development?
Yeah, so there's a portal called the one-stop grant portal. So there was, in the case of what I mentioned, 13 different grants. Well, it used to be there were 13 different agencies that you would apply to these grants for. So a few years ago, the Commonwealth basically merged them together and said, here's a portal, you fill out this stuff and you ship it to the people who review it, rather than you have to figure out what website do I go to, who do I talk to about this.
Okay. The 13 grants, are they cherry-picked out of multiple grants, or are there a total of 13 available anyway and Carver loses them all?
This is the current list of 13.
Okay, so there would be no grants.
I just wanted to come by and say hi, because I'm upstairs. Anybody?
George, you have to identify yourself. You're going to talk
I'm
at a
sorry.
meeting. If the chairman recognizes you.
You're recognized, sir. Identify,
Thank
who are you?
Chairwoman, I'm wonderful, how are you?
Fine.
And members of the board, my name is George McLaughlin, and I am partner in Route 44 Development, as you know, which is pursuing the development in North Carver. I'm here for the planning board meeting this evening, but I wanted to come by and wish everybody a happy holiday and just to say hello, and I didn't mean to interrupt Mr. Bott, but I thought maybe you have some questions for me or whatever, and that's it. I just want to come by and say hi.
I have one question while you're here.
Sure.
And it's a question I was going to ask Mr. Bott. You don't have an agenda in front of you, but one of the 5 bullet points that were brought up in his email to Joanna was in order to score better on our request for the grant, one of the bullet points is include the anticipated warehouse uses, which would be in your area.
Right.
So,
What are you pursuing a grant for, or how?
the North Carver Water District.
North,
that's-
it would be one stop, right? One
Yeah,
stop.
okay, okay, so I've been knee-deep in the North Carver Water District.
Right, with Bob. So you may be aware of this, that we didn't get the grant. We applied for it
Right.
and didn't get it.
Right, they
but-
only give one grant per town, is what
Yeah,
I'm.
right,
That's
right,
right.
but,
Yeah.
but part of the reason is that the North Carver Water District's request scored fewer points than the economic development plan. And one of the reasons was that we didn't identify the uses for the warehouses, is what this is saying. So I don't know if you're gonna know that.
Yeah, I have, right now, I can't tell you who the people are, but I have two folks who wanna buy lots. I think I've told you this previously. One gonna build like 150,000 square feet, 100 to 150,000 square feet of building. The other's gonna build 450,000 square feet of building. The 450,000 square foot user is an agricultural type use. And the 100 to 150,000 is more of a classic industrial type use. Both would be great taxpayers. I think, both would be easily permitted, right in our vision. And I'm getting interest from others, and so my game plan is to get the revised subdivision approval, hopefully this evening,
That's
I
what you
don't know.
want.
And then we're already putting our road out to bid. We have, a bid package that's gone out to road builders. And my wish is to start building that road. Obviously we have to clear and grub and flatten the lot, but our game plan is to do that from April of this year to December of next year, April of next year to December of next year, do all the site work, and then the following, so that'd be April 2025 to December of 2025, grade the lot, flatten the lot, and then we, picking up as soon as we can in April of '26, to build the road and put in all the utilities and have a finished road by December of 2026 is my goal. I've had great meetings with Eversource on water, gas, everything's great. The one thing, that we have to get squared away is the North Carver Water District, and really what has to happen at the North Carver Water District is, and they've had some interest shown by Weston and Sampson and Whitewater. They both have to get, one of those, they basically, the North Carver Water District, I'm coming to a meeting next Wednesday at 5 p.m. with them. They have to issue an RFP, they have to get someone in there to basically tune up the plant, if you will. Get it running again, see where the weaknesses are, get it pumping water and what have you, and then decide, what needs to be done. One thing that's gonna have to happen is they're gonna have to have a water tank. And excuse me, the best place for the water tank is gonna be up there on their property. And I've been talking to water tank companies, and I can get a water tank. If I order it, it can be there and installed within 8 to 9 months.
It's a tank or a tower?
I'm saying tank, it's a tower.
Is it the same, when I read that first engineering study, it was 125 feet, that was the Hillman whatever, is
Yeah.
it still that?
Yeah, well, something like that,
Okay.
maybe not that exact one, but
Okay.
something like that. I
Okay.
think it's a 125,000 gallon tank. It's,
Yeah.
The bottom of the tank's like 125 feet, and the top of the tank's 175 or 200.
Whatever.
So as I look forward, that's something that needs to be solved.
Okay. All right, I just wanted you to be aware of it, that's one
Yeah.
of the reasons. I don't know if Mr. Belvin mentioned that to you when you talked to him, but
Yeah.
I don't want to get between you and Bob, but,
Yeah.
that's something that he may be looking for.
Yeah.
If this grant opportunity comes around again.
Good.
Do you have letters of intent with these potential tenants?
I have draft letters of intent. I don't have
Okay,
anything.
so you're
signed
negotiating the
yet.
deal?
Pardon me?
You're negotiating the deal?
Deal's pretty much negotiated. It's just, you know, kind of the fine tuning, and one of the parties is in the process of fine tuning their quotes on their building and arranging financing and what have you. So it's, you know, they're pretty far along. And my attitude is, now that we've come through this kind of rocky period in the economy, I just want to get in there and build my road. You know, it's the old build it and they will come. So that's what I'm focused on. Road, power, water. And really it's water, 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 water. But, you know, as I've said to you folks before, and it's kind of my mantra in life, if you can put a man on the moon, you can straighten out the North Carver Water District. We just gotta roll up our sleeves and get in there and spend some money and straighten it out.
Right.
So, but as I say, I'm due upstairs.
Okay.
Tom, that's up in the main,
That's correct.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but I wanted to come down and say hello to you folks.
Okay,
No, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
thank you.
So you're gonna try to realign the 4 parcels, maybe do
Up there,
something?
no, the only change is the road's the same, it's just that we were hoping to avoid having to take down that hill up front. But now that we've been meeting with people in the marketplace, everyone said, that doesn't work. What we all want is pad-ready sites.
Was it Borowski's place?
Yeah, where that was, you know where the hill
Yeah.
is in front of the property, we gotta take that hill down, and really,
Are you gonna take that house out?
yeah, we're gonna take everything, we're gonna take everything down. What,
So you have to work with what do you call,
Earth
earth removal?
yeah, I was at earth removal a week or so ago, and got a good reception with them. You know, we had the classic opposition, Meg Sheehan and her crowd were there, but, you know, it's not a sand grab.
When do you plan on starting that?
Well,
April.
in April.
April.
April,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Visibility's the key.
pardon me?
I said visibility's the key.
Right, right. And so, you know, it's all good. I'm feeling good about it. I love coming to see you folks. I've had nothing but good relations with you folks, and, you know, it's been great dealing in town. I just have to get through this hearing and earth removal, but they seemed reasonable. You know, their whole thing was, obviously, they don't want it to turn into a dust bowl. Obviously, you know, this isn't a classic situation, I think, with earth removal where it's kind of a sand and gravel grab, if you will, and that's what they're watching out for. I mean, I've been at this for how many years now? 11 years. So if I wanted to go grab some sand and
2015,
gravel,
yeah.
I wouldn't have thought about it this way. Now it's just a question of, now that we have all of our engineering done, we're gonna have excess of like 480,000 cubic yards that we have no place to get rid of, and I got an expensive road to build, so.
And
know,
you have takers, you're gonna handle all that?
I don't know, to tell you the truth, what I'd like to do is do one-stop shop. I'd just like to hire a local road builder and say to them, you deal with everything, I'll come down there with my engineer every week and make sure we're on target. And, you know, I got other things to do than be selling.
Do you have input to the people that did the $3.2 million Mass Works? Those people they had that
Oh,
contract?
yeah, Landers did that. And so we'll go out to all of the local suspects, Landers, SLT, Ryko, you know, some of the others. The bids are all going out to the usual suspects.
Great.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
so I've been going around meeting with all those folks. We sent out the plans to them last week. We're sending out the bid form this week, so, you know, my winter project is water and roads. I'm eating, sleeping, and dreaming water.
do you still have an idea that you might put a distribution site up there for yourself?
Yeah, I think I will. I think, and I've been talking to a builder about it. I think that's the perfect site to have a distribution center to hit.
I'm sure the Cape would love
And
it.
the Cape.
They would love it.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, you can't build anything on the Cape because the Cape got permission, but I've overstayed my welcome.
All right, yep.
We
Sorry,
appreciate
sorry.
that.
Thank you, George.
All right, very nice. to
Thank
meet
you,
All
thanks
right,
for coming,
take
Judge,
care.
no problem. well, I guess we're
All
moving.
right, so where were we?
I guess,
So the other night I was mentioning I watched Fly Me to the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with the movie Fly Me to the Moon?
I've seen it.
Yes, the Artemis Project.
Mm-hmm.
Did they land a man on the moon?
Who knows?
Can they build a subdivision? Can they put a man on the moon? I'm just wondering, you know.
Yeah,
oh, that was an analogy that he was using.
yeah.
Artemis Project.
That was a fun movie.
It was. All right.
So as far as the future economic, what you're gonna be doing with it,
Kick off in January.
January, okay.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Thanks.
Enjoy.
We thank you. We thank you.
Happy holidays.
Yeah,
That's your Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
okay, well, we got that and more. The next thing on the agenda is the Shirtlift Family Inheritance Award. Now, I sent you a copy of that, plus there was more. Let me give you some background. About 2 months ago, I was in a doctor's office along walks in Mrs. Tusha. Now, Jim Elliman, for your benefit, I mentioned the word Borowski. Was a large parcel. And it kind of like, it's in the middle. Now, when I sent you this, there was a map. It's a small little piece that sat in that area. And when they did the title searching and so forth, they found that
Oh, I remember
property.
this, yeah.
Yeah, that property belonged to Mr. Shirtliff years and years ago, and it just sat there. And Mr. McLaughlin went back and did the search and found out who was the heirs of that family. And Kathleen O'Donnell got involved, and we did a pro tanto, that's a legal term, and we were able to, not by eminent domain, but just through legally, take over the property. And what that information that I sent you, it's notice of intent to take in fee simple absolute, and it lists all the various, there's 7 of them, 4 children, and 2 of the brothers passed, have 4 children, and one other brother has a sister-in-law that would inherit. And so, nothing was ever done. And Karen Tusher said, well, we were confused, so we just kind of packed it up and put it in a box, and we didn't do anything with it. And I said to her, well, you should, because I don't know what's going to happen with that if you don't do anything, but I'm willing to call you, get your questions, and we'll have a call with Kathleen O'Donnell to straighten all this out, which we did do. And I kind of marked up the paper here just to show you. There's 4 heirs, the children, Karen, Deborah, and she had 2 brothers, Bob. They both passed. And what's going to happen if they can't get together and sign their documents, notarize, and agree on the split, which would have to be put down in the document and be notarized and sent to us. If they're having difficulty and they just throw up their hands and say, to hell with it, well, by June of 2025, all of this is going to go to the state for unclaimed property.
Okay.
And so they have till that time frame. And so Karen said she's going to work on it. And she said she'll be in touch with me, and I said, that's fine. And Kathleen says, well, if anybody has to call her, they're willing to do so. She said so on her letter here on the very bottom of that second page, that they could call her, and so she's willing to take those calls as well. So we'll just put that aside, and we'll see what happens. And we have that tucked away in the money market. That's where that money's been sitting for quite a while. If you have any questions, I'd gladly answer them.
No,
Okay.
it's
No, good.
pretty cut.
Pretty
dry.
cut and dry is right. So on the treasurer's report, I'd like you to look at that, and I would need an approval and a motion to approve.
I looked at it this afternoon. I make a motion that we approve it as submitted.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's approved. The other one, the last one, or before the minutes, is the member notes that I put down. I got an email, and I sent you that email that I got from Bob Belbin. He's having a January joint meeting. You saw that?
Yep.
And, of course, we're invited and to speak as well. I think we get 10 minutes. I think Roger sent me an email, and he was kind of wondering why was it so short? And I said, believe it, you stand in front of a mirror and speak for 10 minutes. I said, that's a long time, to be honest with you. And, of course, Roger's not here tonight, so we can't say that. But that's what, I spoke directly with Bob about this. And I said to him, it's a very large budget that he's going to be presenting, because it has to get fixed, obviously.
Yeah.
And in his next meeting, and I made a note of that, Bob's next meeting is next Wednesday, December 18th at 5 o'clock in room 4.
Here.
And I find out that George is going there. George will be present there. And he'll be speaking, and I said to Bob, I kind of wondering, I think I want to send 2 of my guys to that meeting. Interactively, number one, the RDA is going to find out what's going on, how close we are, what's the story. Second of all, George will have something to say, will you recognize my guys? And he said he would, no problem. So I'd like to send you 2 guys.
You saying the 18th?
Yep, it's room 4, this room here, it's at 5 o'clock. And I'd like to make a motion to have my 2 members of the RDA to attend, Jim Elliman and Savory Moore.
I have to check my calendar. I have Concom that night.
Well, I know you do, and all the more reason, after he says where they want to put the tower, I'm saying to myself, I got to get Savory over there.
Yeah. All right, I have to check my calendar.
Okay.
Because I know I have site visits that morning, quite a few of them, and there are other things that I have to do during the day. So
Okay.
I'm not sure I'm going to be back here by 5.
Okay,
I'll be back for 7 for the meeting. That's how I plan my day.
okay.
So I will let you know.
All right, Jim.
I can go.
You could go. Fantastic. All right, that's great. So, at least I have one known member that's going to be able to go,
All right, and the other meeting, Bob, is January 25th. It's a Saturday.
Yes, it's a Saturday. Can you put that on your calendar as well, that email that I sent you?
I'm out of town.
It's, you're out of town. Okay, it's from 10 to 12, it's going to be in the auditorium.
The high
I
school.
don't know how he's going to advertise for that, to be honest with you, but he has.
Facebook, where everyone gets their news.
Oh, I suppose, yeah, okay. So I put that on my calendar, and to get up and speak, yeah, sure, no problem. But I'm hoping that we have some good stuff to tell the people, because if you're gonna vote town meeting April, you better damn well know what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're going to turn to the minutes. Did you both have a chance to read those minutes?
We can't do the minutes tonight. I was not here, so I
Oh,
cannot,
absentee, that's
I
right.
cannot second the motion.
That's right, exactly.
So we have
So we'll
to,
defer them.
Yeah.
But turn to page, I want you to turn to that page that Susan put the link. Page 2, under 5, member notes. I commented about that meeting, and I said Mr. McLaughlin participated in the meeting, and I said Mr. Belbin did state that the North Carver Water District was willing to work with them to get the system back up and running, and Mr. Knoblauch is the November meeting video posted? And I answered, yes, it's posted. And I said, for more information, or she said this, for more information from the aforementioned North Carver Water meeting, please click on that link. And if you click on the link, it brings you right to the meeting. And I would suggest you, if you haven't listened to it, if you go in and move that dial, or whatever you call that red thing, move it into 10 minutes, the 10-minute part of that meeting, that's when
That's where it starts.
McLaughlin, he had COVID, his son came in and videotaped the North Carver Water plant with Bob, and his son was present at the meeting, and George was on Zoom, or was on the phone, actually. He had COVID, he was in bed, he couldn't come to this. And George talked all about what his intention was, and Bob gave his rationale of his wanting to get the plan up and running. So that's his intent, but I think Bob is having some problems with his other two members. They're not fully there, because they have to spend money, and I don't quite know. So I'm anxious to see this, I don't know if I want to attend that meeting. Savory, could you tell me if you're going to attend that meeting or not?
Which one?
The December 18th one.
I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to check my
Yeah,
calendar.
because I would like to have you there, but if you don't,
Yeah, I don't have my calendar with me. So
yeah, okay, that's good. So anyway, that link, and based on what Sue did, she's not here tonight, she hurt her back, by the way. That hyperlink, we could use it for other documents, you know? Oftentimes we have documents, and you could just use that hyperlink to
Right,
read
good.
through. It's good, that's good. All right, so we have to defer this minutes.
Yeah,
Till
we
next-
can only vote on it when both
Right.
Roger and,
Okay, let's do the next
Jim are
meeting,
here.
yeah. You're not leaving again, are you?
I'll be here in January. I'm going in February.
All right. When would you be going away? That the 14th, with the second Tuesday, or the first Tuesday? What do you guys want to do?
When does planning board meet? Second to fourth?
I think so, or the first and the fourth?
Well, it can't be the 4th, because it's a Saturday.
No,
No, the fourth
week.
Wednesday, the fourth
Week.
Oh, I'm
Tuesday.
sorry.
Now, planning board is meeting tonight. Okay, let's
So
look
that's
at,
the second.
that's the second.
Tuesday and what?
and I believe they would be, I would tell you maybe the night, well, no, they got Christmas in here, so they're not,
All right, so they're meeting tonight, so they're probably meeting tonight, because they won't be meeting for the next 3 weeks. They
exactly.
won't be meeting on Christmas Eve
Right.
or New Year's Eve.
So,
I think they're first and third.
so you think they'd be,
Let's do it the 14th.
the 14th, okay, RDA the 14th. What about you, Jim? Are you good? Okay, RDA 14th, at 6:30.
Make a motion that we have our next meeting on Tuesday, January 14th
Se-
at 6:30 PM.
I need a
whatever
second.
room.
I have a second. I have a second. Any further discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye. That's it. That's our next meeting.
All right,
Okay, we're going to.
motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye. It's 7:06 by my clock. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
good holiday, by the way.
You
Yeah,
too.
You too.